Lights down low, still wondering what you're saying.
Stay, stay, stay.
Baby, please don't go. I'd rather have you staying.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. I know I did. Today we have the Alpina Seastrong automatic diver, model number AL-525LBN4V6B. And as usual, we'll open it up, look at the fit and finish, the features and the functions, the build quality, and then I'll give you my overall impression of this Alpina diver. Now first, I'd also like to invite you to become a patron of mine on Patreon. Check out my Patreon link in the description field. When you get a chance, you can give a one-time gift or a recurring monthly gift. It's entirely up to you. So here we go. Now, I've never reviewed an Alpina before. I figured, you know what, it's time to do it. Let's take a look at some of these kind of mid-tier Swiss watches. So this is the one I picked. Here we go with the watch box. This thing's pretty big. Really, really big watch box, but a nice watch box. And let me show you what you get in the bottom here. This thing is really big. Down here you have a really nice little booklet. It's kind of like a coffee table book. You open it up, and there you go. You got your international warranty on the left, and then you have your pretty thick owner's manual here on the right. And I'm guessing this is probably multiple language. Yeah, multiple different languages. Really, really nice presentation. I like this thing. Really, really kind of classes the watch up. Really, really cool. And it sits down here in the bottom of the watch box. So let's get rid of the watch box. And let's take a look at this Alpina diver. Again, first time I've ever reviewed this brand. I like the outer watch box. Kind of has like that kind of pleather feel. It feels nice. I've actually probably had some nicer watch boxes than this, but it's not bad at all. I mean, it's definitely well built, that's for sure. But I like the feel of some of the other watch boxes I reviewed. But not bad at all. There you go. Comes on a black pillow. And let's go ahead and get some base specs here, and then we'll talk more in detail. All right, let's look at this thing. Let's go ahead and get the case size. All right. Let's see. It's a little bit tricky because these things have two kind of bumps on either side. So let's get it without the bumps. It's a real technical word I'm using there, bumps. All right, so it's basically 45 millimeters. Let's look at the thickness. Thickness, you're looking at 13 and a half. Let's do a lug to lug. Lug to lug, looking about 50 millimeters. Let's do a bracelet. Bracelet, you're looking at 22 millimeters. Now, on the left-hand side, I'll go ahead and put the rest of the specs, and we'll talk more about this watch. All right, you're looking at 300 meters water resistant, which of course is 990 feet. Go ahead and say 1,000 feet. It has the Alpina AL-525 movement, which is based on the Sellita SW200, which is basically an ETA 2824-2 clone. They're all great movements. You do have a see-through case back. It has a 38-hour power reserve. You have your date window over there at 3 o'clock. You have a unidirectional bezel, which is absolutely the tightest bezel I have ever reviewed. I take back everything I've said about other bezels being the tightest. This one actually wins the prize, bar none. You have an AR-coated sapphire crystal. It is windable and hackable. It's using Superluminova C3 on the indexes and hands. You do have a buttery smooth crown over there at 3 o'clock, and I'll talk about that as well. And of course, it is Swiss made. So I guess let's go ahead and start with the dial. It's kind, I don't want to say generic. It's just not inspiring. There's nothing really about this dial that it just doesn't have the wow factor to me. But it's incredibly legible. It's very, very, very well made. You can definitely tell a Swiss watch when you have it in your hands. You can just feel the construction methods that they use, the quality, the finishes. You can definitely tell a Swiss watch when you're having your hands. So anyways, getting back to the dial, basically you have a black matte dial. You have all applied indexes. Those indexes have a chrome border around each one of them. Now, if you look at it at a glance, you can't really see that the hands are actually skeletonized, but they are. Near the base right there of each hand, you can see they're actually skeletonized. You do have a nice little red tip on the counterbalance of the second hand. Again, nice I mean, nice indexes. I like the size of them. I like the fact that they're applied. You do have minimal writing. You got automatic and 300 meters, which says 1,000 feet underneath the hands right there. Of course, you have Swiss made down here at 6 o'clock. The date window, I do wish the date window had a border around it. That's just a personal preference for me. And of course, I do wish the date window was just a tad bigger. The bezel insert, it's aluminum. But the cool thing is if you look, you can see, I don't know if you can see that, but I don't know. I think these indexes are either applied or they're partially inlaid into the bezel, because you can see they're actually above the bezel. I don't know how well you can see that. Let's see if I can get a close up. There you go. They're actually raised above the bezel. Interesting. Really, really cool. I'm betting they're probably halfway inlaid in there, or they might be applied. But I'm betting on inlaid. So anyway, you have a little luminous pip up here at 12 o'clock. Inside of the triangle, of course, that triangle is the Alpina logo, of course. You have some delineation between 12 and 20 for your dive times. What else about the dial? That's really, really about it. Let's talk about the crown. I like the crown. Big, huge Alpina logo on the crown there. Nice red Alpina logo. I like it. They say this is actually to help you grip the screw down crown, but this kind of rubber insert actually makes it a little bit harder for me personally, and I'm guessing actually probably a lot of people. I like it when they have knurling all over the crown. This rubber insert makes it a little bit harder for me personally to unscrew the crown. I don't know if this is going to be the case for everybody, but I don't like an insert on the crown like that. I just like plenty of grip on any crown that I try to unscrew and screw in. But I guess the trade-off is this is a buttery, Teflon smooth crown. Incredibly nice crown pop. I don't know if you might have even heard that. Incredibly nice crown pop. Winds, incredibly nice. Oh, love it. And it does screw in and unscrew. I mean, incredibly smooth. You can definitely tell when you're screwing in a Swiss-made crown. Unbelievable. Winding action is super smooth. The process of screwing in and unscrewing is incredibly smooth. I'm just not crazy about this rubber insert. They could have left that out and maybe put some knurling in its place. But that's kind of a trademark of these Alpina divers now. They have that rubber insert. Not my favorite. I do wish they had some. The crown guards were a little bit more pronounced. And the thing is, you have this on this side, and then you have this bump on the other side. I'm not quite sure what this kind of raised area is over on the other side of the case. I don't know if it's for a different model that has maybe something written on it. I don't know if it serves any, function. I just have no idea. Or if it's just aesthetic. I have no idea why they have it there. But maybe it's just aesthetic. Maybe it's just to even out both sides, for symmetry purposes. I'm not quite sure. I mean, it doesn't irritate me or anything. It doesn't, have any issues so far as wearing the watch. I'm just not quite sure why they left it there. I'm not quite sure what it's for. Let's get back to the bezel for a second. Incredibly, wow, nice bezel. You can hear the action. And of course, it lines up perfectly with 12 o'clock. I mean, this is a Swiss watch. And if it didn't, I would be absolutely shocked. I think, is that lined up? There we go. Look at that, perfect. So let's look at the case. You mostly have, it's kind of really a combination of brushed and highly polished. The bracelet has some really highly polished inner links on it, but there are quite a few brushed areas all over the bracelet as well. There you go, another reminder that you've got an Alpina. You have another logo there. This watch has quite a few logos on it. Not a big deal, but we definitely know that you're wearing an Alpina. Let's go ahead and open it up. Butterfly clasp. I'm getting a little bit more used to these. They're just not my favorite bracelet style for a watch. I just like, just basically a tang and buckle style. I'm just not crazy about these. I mean, I understand why they make them, so you have that seamless transition, so you can't really tell where the bracelet begins or ends. But with this one, you also have to remember that you have to close this side first, and then the side with the Alpina logo. See how it kind of fits in there, like tongue and groove? There you go. A really nice bracelet. Obviously solid end links, really well machined, very well made. Let's take a look at the case back. Of course, you have a skeletonized case back, and you have that distinctive Alpina rotor. It's kind of like the A rotor is what they call it. It has that cutout right there. And I don't know if that actually enhances rotor winding performance. I wouldn't think it would. I would just think it's more of an aesthetic change, just like a design feature that kind of differentiates. Kind of like when you look at an Oris rotor, and Oris has those big red rotors on the back of their watches. You can see it. Actually, I'll put a picture of an Oris up there for you. You know what I'm talking about. I think this is Alpina's way of kind of like their own little design language for that rotor. Really nice. You see some nice perlage on the bridges and stuff back there. I don't know if you can see it clearly here, but you have some decent perlage back there. I don't know if you can see it or not. You probably can't. But anyway, I mean, just a really nice case back. The fact that this is 300 meters water resistant, you have a skeletonized case back is a nice design feature. I like that. Screw down case back. You have some laser etching around the perimeter of the case back. You know, it gives you the basic features. It tells you the name, it's Swiss made. It gives you the water resistance. It gives you the model number, and that it's made by Alpina. So there you go. So I'm trying to think of what else about this watch. What else? I'm trying to think. The Alpina logo for me is a tad bit large. Again, just personal preference. I mean, none of these things are deal killers. None of these things are something that would keep me from buying the watch. The only thing about this watch, you can obviously tell that it's extremely well made, without a doubt, Swiss made. Incredibly well built watch, but it just doesn't have that wow factor to me. I don't look at it and go, oh man, that's an Alpina. I just don't. It's kind of bland in my personal opinion. Tell me what tell me what y'all think. Tell me if this blows you away, or if you agree with me, or you're kind of in the middle about it. It just doesn't have enough of a unique design language on the dial and bezel that really just would make me want to really go out and buy one of these. For the mid-tier divers, I think Oris makes some really fantastic looking dive watches, and I'm sure I'm probably forgetting some other brands. But for this kind of mid-tier level, I really, really like the Oris watches. These are, again, very well built, but they just don't speak to me. They don't make me want to buy them. They don't make me want to show it off. They don't want to make me, tell people about the watch. If they ask me, I'm just like, it's just a nice Swiss, kind of a mid-level, Swiss diver. So anyway, let's go ahead and give it a shot on the wrist here. And I got to make sure I close this butterfly clasp in the right order. All right, there we go. And there you go. It's got some good wrist presence. But I mean, if I was to look at it from a glance, I would honestly, probably think it's a Seiko. I wouldn't really, I don't know, with that big 12 o'clock index, I might even think it's one of the older Omega Seamasters. And I'll show you the one I'm talking about over there on the left-hand side of the screen. I might think it's one of those for a split second just by looking at it, because that's a really pronounced 12 o'clock index right there. But I mean, it feels great. The bracelet's not pulling any of my hairs. It does look good, but it just doesn't, it just doesn't do it for me. And that doesn't mean I don't like the watch. I just wouldn't, rush out to get one. Now let's give you the all-important lume shot. Everybody knows a diver, a lot of times, is defined, partially defined anyway, by its lume. So let's take a look and see what we have lume-wise here. Let's go ahead and kill everything. Get you a totally black shot here. Oh, you see, already scrolling pretty good. Now, I did a preliminary test of this lume, I don't know, a few minutes before I started the review. And let's see if it does the exact same thing while I'm actually making a review as it did before. There you go. Yeah, it does a little bit. Wow, nice lume. Really, really nice lume. Now, with me looking at it in person, the camera's going to pick up something different just because the sensor is different than the human eye. The bezel actually has brighter lume, to me, looking at it with my naked eye, than the lume on the indexes on the dial, which is really odd. But when you look at it here, it looks like they're even. That's really interesting how the camera can pick up. Just like when you point a camera at a remote control, you can see the infrared light going off, but with your naked eye, you can't see it. The camera can see something I can't see. And it's probably enhancing those dial indexes. But to me, the dial is almost faded out and the bezel's still going strong. But anyway, bottom line, great lume. I don't know how long lasting it would be. I'm guessing it's probably pretty decent. It is Super Luminova C3, so I'm guessing it's probably going to be a pretty decent lume. There you go. Let's go ahead and put the light back on. And I'm trying to think of what else I might have forgotten with this watch. Guys, that's really about it. I can't say, I can't say I'm blown away with this thing. I can't say that I'm disappointed with it. it's kind of one of those, I mean, it's just one of those watches where, you know, you'd be proud to wear it on your wrist, but it's just not a showstopper. And, you know, to me, I like watches. Personally, I like watches that I like. I don't buy a watch for somebody else or what other people think. But I just want my watch to really be unique, and not unique in a goofy way, not unique in a super flashy way, just to be very, you know, well built and unique looking. And this is just, it's kind of bland for me, guys. But, you know, definitely tell me what you think. You know, tell me I'm crazy. Tell me you agree with me. But that's really about it for this one, guys. Again, this has been the Alpina Seastrong automatic diver, model number AL-525LBN4V6B. And if you like this video, please click on like. If you want to subscribe to my channel, I really appreciate each and every subscriber. And let me know what you think of this one. And guys, that's really about it for this watch. And that's it. Anyway, got a whole bunch of new stuff coming up pretty soon. I've got some fan favorites that are coming up with some new models coming out, some companies with some new models coming out that y'all have been actually waiting for. And that's about it. All right, guys, until the next review, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. Hey, guys, I forgot to tell you, I'll go ahead and put a link in the description field for how much the Alpina is and where you can get it. All right, thanks, man.